Hey, y'all, it's Leonard Brazil here, co-founder of zfind.com. We're the number one Airbnb approved property distribution platform in the world where Airbnb operators can find properties approved for sublease instead of going to Zillow and making all these phone calls and trying to convince owners yourself. So just wanted to break down the onboarding process when offering third-party services in your coaching program. This is a bit high level, just to be honest. And also, I'm going off the top of my head as well. I know this very well. I'm going to break down what this would look like if you were to offer uh, a third party service. And then I'm going to give you a bonus of if you were to offer services that you that you are not leveraging third party uh, uh, platforms or third party services within your coaching program. So the first thing I'm gonna say is um, that you don't own, that you do own. All right, let's get into this. So the reason why this is a little bit high level is because at the end of the day, most coaching programs are offering services within their program. So let's just say if we're in the Airbnb space, of course, most Airbnb coaching programs will offer a service within their coaching program that the actual course creator, the influencer, whoever they are, the coach has already created. And so by doing so, this is the bonus that I'm giving you first. But by doing so, they don't necessarily have to do much because it's already within their ecosystem. So when someone pays for their program, whether that person that paid saw it in the offer already or not, there's not much transition of like comfort. Like the student doesn't have to transition their comfort levels because they're already involved in within the service within the coaching program. Now, the issue I've seen all the time with coaches that have this type of model is they do coaching because coaching typically makes more than their Airbnbs make. And when they do coaching, they realize that the money is so good that they don't actually want to do a whole bunch of things. They don't want to do a bunch of fulfillment. They want to, create the content, put it in the portal, let students have access to it, and then maybe once a week, twice a week, they hop on a coaching call and coach up their students. Right? That's fairly easy for the amount of return that you're getting on that specific activity. But then when they add other services within that program, then they're adding on additional layers of fulfillment that they have to go out and do, whether they're delegating. If they're going to delegate it, they have to foresee the delegation. They have to monitor the delegation. Meet the they have to meet with the people that they're delegating to, right? So if I'm offering interior design within my coaching program, or if I'm offering property management for my students within my coaching program, I have to meet with these people more than once a week, maybe a few times a week, maybe once a week, to check on the operational piece of that actual business, because that's a separate business, right? It's an offer within your coaching program, but it's its own business. So I have to check on that operation to make sure that operation is flowing the way it needs to flow, even if I'm not actually doing the work. So within their coaching program, they find it to be a little more difficult to fulfill. So the best way that they go, and it's the route that a lot of coaches use ZFind for, is by offering their students access to a third party platform as a service to fulfill a desired goal by leveraging the coaching program. And so to give you an example, it's like a coach is offering education as a product, as a digital product. I'm going to go in and I'm going to learn the information that this coach is presenting. But now I want to be able to get access to properties approved for Airbnb so I don't have to do all the work myself and talk to property owners and face rejection and all these other things. So I'm going to transition to ZFind. I'm going to go off of the coach's program and transition to ZFind to acquire a property And then when I acquire that property, I then take my knowledge that I'm learning from the coaches program, or I'm going back into the coaches program to then learn the concepts of how to operate that property. Now, if you think about how that works, the coach did not have to fulfill a single thing. The coach did not have to find properties. The coach did not have to onboard anybody. The coach did not have to do customer support. The coach did not have to answer any questions regarding the properties on the platform. That was all handled by the third party company, in this case, ZFind, because ZFind has built an infrastructure and has built a team and has built a process and systems and things like that to help with the servicing of other people who have questions, regardless of where they come from. So when you think about onboarding, onboarding is super important, right? If you have a student that is going into your coaching program, it's very important to do onboarding, right? If a student pays 5 grand or 2 grand or 1,000 for a coaching program, you want to make sure that they're properly onboarded and you have expectations set properly for how their education will look in their journey, right? This is not a get rich quick thing. This is not a you go through the course and then you don't take action until 3 months later and expect it's going to work out, because 3 months later you're probably in a different season. So the information that you learn based off of a specific season is not going to be the same for the new season. Like all these aspects, right? And then when you're offering a service within your coaching program, you have to cover that service. How does that service work? What are the nuances that you'll face when using this service? What are the nuances that you'll face after you've used the service and you're now in the journey of what the service provided to you, right? So creating some type of onboarding process as simple as your student comes into the coaching program and they simply book a call on your calendar, which will allow for them to have a meeting with maybe a client success manager or an account manager to discuss those things over a slideshow, presenting these things to them so that when the slideshow is over, that student can get a copy of the slideshow. So there's no excuse why they failed in their journey to whatever you're providing as education, unless they just didn't do the work. So an onboarding process within your coaching program should stand as that. Now, when you're going third party and you're offering a third party service to your students, you don't have to do onboarding as a coach. But what you do need to do is help them understand. For instance, if you're sending your students to ZFind to find properties approved for Airbnb, you're helping your students understand the whole property aspect as far as education around the business and how properties will work, or what to have ready for a property, or like your lease addendum, or making sure that you have your bank statements and pay stubs, right? Whatever those things look like, your LLC, whatever those things look like, you want to make sure that your students understanding those aspects. But then you want to make sure that the company at which who you're working with has their own onboarding process to set the proper expectations for your students so that they have success outside of your program. It's like this great example. A parent is going to prepare their child in a way at which they can function in the world when they leave home. Let me repeat that. A parent is going to prepare their child in a way at which they can function in the world once they leave home. So, as a coach, you must prepare your student in a way at which they are prepared in the world of Airbnb or whatever you're offering when they leave your coaching program. So, our job as a third party service is to provide them with proper education around what to expect when they leave the coaching program, what to expect when they go get a property and they're no longer using the services provided by a coaching program, but by the services provided by a third party company. And I'm not trying to say like the student is not using the coaching program and they're leaving the coaching program. But what I am saying is that student is now taking the knowledge that they have, that the coach has prepared them for, to go out into the world and take action. So we have to provide those students with an onboarding process at which they are going to understand the experience that they may have with a property owner, the nuances they may have with a property owner. What happens when a property owner doesn't respond? Do you just sit there and wait, or do you move on, or do you contact that property owner through phone number, or contact that property owner through email, right? Do you follow up with that property owner? Like, what are all these things that you must realize to do? Because if you don't know these things, you're not going to do them. And if you're not at least presented these things one time, you're not going to even know to do them. So we must prepare you with those things. And so onboarding for us, for example, is when a student comes into our ecosystem, or when a new user comes into our ecosystem, even if they didn't come from a coaching program, they are onboarded with a video that will help them understand all the nuances, all experiences, everything to do with property owners, what property owners expect, what you should expect, what you should have ready for a property owner, right? Um, what you should know prior to having a conversation with that property owner. Here are all the things that you must know when it comes to inquiring about properties on ZFind, right? So we prepare our users with that type of documentation, that type of video with slideshows attached, so that they can get that information and properly execute on properties that are on the platform. And so just keep that in mind when you're thinking about onboarding processes. Again, this was a little high level, but at the same time, super low level in a sense. Um, you may have to play this back a few times. You may have to think about it, as such. But essentially, I want to provide this to you to give you some type of value. I know I've been slacking on the videos, but I want to make sure I get another video out this week so that you can get as much value as possible. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I really, truly, truly appreciate your support. I'm super grateful for you guys. And if you like this type of content, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of this content. I love creating videos. I love creating content, long form content. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you are a fan of getting this type of information, whether you're a coach or want to become a coach, or you're an Airbnb operator, you want to become an Airbnb operator, you're just curious, or you want to apply this type of information to another business, another vertical. This is the channel for you. And then if you want any updates about ZFind, anything that we come out with in the future, any collabs we do, any partners we work with, any new features we come out with, all those type of things involving ZFind, all things ZFind, this is the channel for you. So thank you so much for your support, and I'll see you guys in the next video.